This is The Voice of Aging, hosted by Brynne Malone, owner of Aging Solutions. Real talk, expert advice, and trusted resources to help you navigate aging with confidence, clarity, and peace of mind. Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Voice of Aging. I'm Brynne Malone, your host, owner, and founder of Aging Solutions here in the Pacific Northwest. And today we're going to talk about something that no one really wants to talk about or think about. And as you see my guest, she knows, and she was smart enough to go into that business that no one wants to talk about or think about. And I'm happy to have her here today. This is Sabrina Jones. She is the owner and founder of a company here in the Pacific Northwest called MovHER, and it's spelled uniquely. So we'll ask her why that is and how she came up with that name in just a minute. So Sabrina, welcome. Thanks for joining us on The Voice of Aging.
I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. So moving people.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, do you have a degree for that? Well, everybody, you make it look easy, right?
We try. Yes, that's our goal.
Okay, so do you have a degree in moving? I mean, how do we do this?
Well, now I do. I mean, at this point I do, just
through experience.
Through hard knocks and through lots of experience.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
And so my poor dad, I grew up on the Palouse, on about a 1,000-acre wheat farm. And my poor dad got 4 girls. And I was about the closest he got to a boy. And so I was always hanging out with my dad and, bucking bales of hay and driving the wheat truck and taking it into the elevator and taking steer to the county fair, Woodman County, the Palouse Empire Fair. And so moving was actually not a far stretch from that. I mean, I did other things, like I've gone to school and I have my college degrees and things like that. And but life takes lots of twists and turns along the way. And if somebody would have said, "Oh, you're going to own a moving company," I'd say, "You're crazy." Crazy.
Why would I? Why would I own a moving company?
But yet here I am. So
here you are.
Yeah.
So how did it start? Were you what were you doing when you founded the moving company? Were you in a different business altogether, or what were you doing?
So were
you an apprentice somewhere? I mean,
no, I had no experience. I had zero experience.
Okay.
So first of all, you spell it. Some people say it's mother. It's not mother. It's MovHER. So it's MovHER.
Okay.
Which was very difficult for me to spell incorrectly because I'm a pretty good speller. And so, but if you see it, you'll see that the H is like cursive, right? Yeah. And so it's pink. And the rest of the letters are black and more block-like. But the H gets squished in there like somebody with a high heel, squished it in there. So it kind of shows, and it's got a big pink circle. Yeah. And so you kind of know there's some female influence in there. Yeah. But no, I started it back in 2010. I had zero industry experience. I was actually working in the marketing and communications department at Gonzaga University. Okay. Go Zags. At the time. And I loved working there, but I also just I had gone through a divorce. Okay. I had gone through a divorce, and I wasn't allowed to go back to my house and get my things. So I had to rent a truck, and I found a couple of Gonzaga students to go drive it and get my things and bring them to me. And that got me thinking of women, women do a lot. And I'm like, what could I do that would make me stand out, I was like, I'm not smart enough to come up with a brand new idea, but what can I do better? What can I do better? And how can I stand out? And I'm like, well, moving. Nobody likes moving. It's very male dominated. And if I would hire great people, I would go to the Gonzaga gym and work out during lunch hour, and I'd see these guys and gals lifting weights, and I'd just be like, hey, do you need a part-time job? Because I didn't give up my 5-day-a-week job at GU. We would just move on weekends, and so I would rent a truck, and at the time was storing my blankets in the closet at my condo, and drive the rental truck back to the condo and load the blankets, and then move people on the weekends and give.
That's how all great companies start, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, but I did it, and so I mean that was kind of how it started. I sort of ran it that way for the first 2.5 years, and then it just got to a point where it was like, maybe this could be a real thing, and maybe you should leave Gonzaga and make this happen. And that was a big jump.
Well, you're leaving security.
You leave that security of this, of the salary, the benefits, and and I also had 2 kids that could go to school for free at GU or any Jesuit university if they chose to do that. But my son decided to go to the University of Washington.
Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.
Yeah.
So, and so I was like, okay, I'm just going to go. And and then here we are, 16 and a half years later, and I can't get out.
You're kind of stuck now.
No, but it's been great. So, yeah.
It is unique that what brought you to that, and this is what's been fascinating about the podcast that we've done. Everyone has kind of a story about why they got in, and yours is a very personal story. Obviously, you went through a very difficult time, and you saw a need, so you recruited some kids from campus, and they went and got your stuff, and then you started thinking, if I'm having this issue,
right,
and how much fun this isn't, right?
Yes.
Then maybe I could make some extra money.
Yeah.
I'm trying to support 2 kids and juggle a career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for you.
Yeah.
So that's how you got into it.
That's how I got into it.
And then you have you were working in marketing, so obviously you know how to put yourself out there.
Yeah. If you think back to 2010, like there wasn't a lot out there, right, on the internet at that time, and the websites were pretty boring. And you could imagine the moving industry, it was even worse. It's like such a dinosaur that it didn't take much to stand out, to have some personality and obviously be woman-owned. And I kept thinking, women are the ones that are making the decisions, right, for the home.
Most of the time,
Most of the time.
Oh,
and so they're doing the research, they're calling the mover, they're calling getting their utilities set up or their address, all the things.
All the things, all the details.
Yeah, I mean, for their parents, for their kids. And I thought, at least they'll call. Like, they'll see the pink circle and they'll call, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going out and doing the estimates, and I mean, there was like this immediate bond because it was
woman
a female
to woman.
with another female, and they would tell me things that I'm thinking, if I was a guy, you wouldn't be telling me this right now, right?
Right.
And then to bring in these young people that are like, oh, they're going to be mechanical engineers, and they're studying to be accountants, and they're going to be whatever, they're going to go to medical school, but right now they're your mover, right? So these great young people that they felt good about having in their house and that worked really well together. And we still strive for that. Those are the kind of people that we want to hire. Yeah. People that don't want to be movers forever, but want to be the best movers that they can while they're there.
I think it's interesting you bring up an interesting point when you reference 2010, because when I think back, I think of a very large semi that's green with a yellow ship on it for moving, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I think about, but that's not, I mean, I know you can do that, but how I know you and the different movers in our area are that you help, because I'm in the senior industry. I'm in the industry of helping, people from 45, usually daughters, coordinating for mom and dad.
Yeah.
And mom and dad's move. And that's how you and I met many years ago.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So.
He still owes me money, by the way.
I don't think I do, but that's a discussion for another time. And
that's on the unedited podcast version. I'm just
leave
teasing.
that in.
Just
leave that in. No, but I think it's changed. The dynamics changed because I remember seeing your misspelled trucks running around. And I'm thinking, why would someone hire somebody that can't spell? Was my first thought. And then I went, oh, I got it. It's pink. Okay. I bet that's a woman-owned business. And then at that point, there weren't a lot of people in your space that were doing kind of, I'm going to just say the smaller moves, like the one-day moves. I call it, I don't know what you call it.
No, there really weren't. There really weren't. Yeah. It's funny because when I started back in 2010, I remember finding all the moving companies that were in Spokane, and I sent out a letter. And I said, hi, I'm Sabrina Jones, and I
want to take your business away from you.
I was like, I don't want to see us as competitors, but like I'm here to help. And anyway, such a girl thing to do, I guess. But I heard back from one person.
Yeah.
And it was the general manager for the Beacons van line that was here at the time. Jeff, I forget his last name now.
Yeah.
But like I could never compete with a van line. I mean,
No.
I'm an independent local moving company, but he was so helpful in those early years. Yeah, he was just a great soundboard, you know, because moving is regulated in the state, which a lot of people have. It's regulated in Washington. It's regulated in Oregon. It's not in Idaho.
Yeah.
And so there's a bunch of different rules. And, you know, I have my degree in elementary education, so I love kind of providing people like, here's what you need to know, okay?
And that's why you're here.
You make your own decision. But yeah, I like people to kind of have the guidelines, and it's like, maybe we'll be your answer, but if we're not, this is still what you should expect from the other moving company that you're going to hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to dive into those details a little bit, but I was going to ask you about the regulation of moving companies, because we're all a little bit concerned, you know, if we get ding and dents, and, you know, what kind of things can we do to, maybe if we feel like things were damaged or missing, gone missing, or
that's the worst.
How does that? Yeah. What do we do? I mean,
so
what is that? I mean, and as a business owner, that's going to be one of your bigger, you know, just how to mitigate
it is,
loss.
and it's a really complicated question with a complicated answer.
Okay.
But I mean, basically, like I said earlier, I grew up on a farm. I still believe in the power of a handshake and the power of just treating people right, whether they're the people that work for me or the people that become our customers. And we really emphasize to our employees that nobody plans to mess up. Right?
Yeah, right.
You don't go at the beginning of the day and go, I'm going to break some glass today, right? Or I'm going to scratch that floor or put a big hole in that wall. Nobody, but it's like, but when it happens, just own it. You tell your lead, the lead will have a conversation with the customer, and we will address it, right? Is that you stand by your word. You do the right thing. Yeah. Because the worst thing is to go, oh, I hope they never notice that. And then they find out later. Oh, yeah. Right? I mean, it's the worst thing.
It's the worst thing.
It feels like you just can't trust them. And then you start wondering, what else didn't they tell me? What else am I going to find?
Yeah.
Right? But there's different levels of valuation protection that, you know, but again, it kind of comes down to your values. So like, let's just say you have a move within Washington and you're moving less than 55 miles. Those are typically charged by the hour. They're non-binding, which means that I could say, well, Brynne, we're going to move you with 1 truck and 2 crew. It's going to be 4 hours, right? Yeah. And here's the inventory. We know exactly what we're going to move. Well, as long as you don't change anything, we can't charge you any more than an additional 25% of the total estimate, right? Okay. So as long as the inventory doesn't significantly change, we have to honor that estimate.
Okay.
But it also means that you don't have to pay us the full 4 hours. If we're done in 3 or 3 1/4, you only pay for that.
Okay.
But you pay from the time the company leaves until they get back. So the travel time leaves wherever they're based.
Okay.
Right? So once we leave our base, go to your house, load your stuff, go to the new house and drive, that's all billable time. Okay. And that's included in the estimate. And we discuss that with the customer.
Okay.
And you should sign an estimate. Estimate doesn't mean that you're going to use the moving company. It just means that you understand it. And so in Washington State, I hope nobody's fallen asleep yet. But in Washington,
not, believe me, because everybody wants to know how much is it going to cost? Am I going to get bilked here?
Right,
you know?
Exactly. Right? And that's the biggest thing is that 125. It's called the 125 rule. So like if you said, look, all I want you to move is my big stuff. I'm going to move all the boxes.
Yeah.
And then if the crew gets there and then you're like, well, you know what? I didn't have time to move the boxes. So can you move them? Then you void the 125. Then we're like, Brynne,
that's a reboot.
It's going to take longer.
Yeah.
And you know, as long as you know that, and then we have you initial and say, I acknowledge that I voided the 125 but if you're going to add a chair.
Yeah.
Or if you're, no big deal.
Hey, you forgot the barbecue on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Like if it's 1 or 2 or just a handful of items, no big deal. But yeah, when it's something significant or like, oh, I forgot I have a 10 by 20 storage unit, you need to pick some things up. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think we're square now on me owing you. I think as your crew did forget the barbecue on the back. So I had to go put it in my own truck. But that's all right. Not to bring up a sore subject. Okay. We're even.
But anyway, so when you sign the estimate, that doesn't mean that you have to use the company. It just means you understand the estimate. There's 3 levels of valuation. It's not insurance, it's valuation. And that's protecting your goods while it's in the custody of the moving company. So there's basic, there's one with a deductible and one without a deductible. The basic comes with every single move and doesn't cost you anything extra.
Okay.
But it protects everything at 74 cents a pound. So if you have, you know, a 10-pound, well, a 100-pound TV and you went with basic coverage and we take the TV without putting it in a box and it gets scratched or it's damaged, we're going to owe you 74 cents of $100. So what is that? $7.40 for your TV. Or that's right. Yeah, $7.40. That's not a lot.
No,
right?
You can't buy a new TV for that.
Yeah, but so let's say your shipment weighed 6,000 pounds and our truck caught on fire and everything was destroyed. We would owe you 6,000 pounds times 74 cents, right? Yeah. Our truck has never caught on fire. It's never happened, okay? But then there's
hypothetical.
Yeah. But there are other two options. If you have a 6,000-pound shipment, they calculate that, and I'm not going to be able to do the math in my head, but it's $9.16 a pound, right? So let's just round it to $9. So if you go with that, then your stuff is has to be worth at least $54,000, right? Yeah. So $9 times 6,000 pounds. And then we divide it by 100 and multiply it by something else. And anyway, so that's going to cost you a few $100s for that protection. But that means that if...
protects the total loss.
It protects and it's protecting every piece, every good at market value, right? Replacement value. And so if something is damaged or destroyed or lost, then the company needs to either reimburse you monetarily or repair it, right? And so that's when you work together, and because it's regulated, we have to submit a form to you, a claim form. You have to fill it out. We have to respond within 30 days and that sort of thing. So, and then there's the one with a no deductible, which is calculated the same way, but then you don't pay. With the deductible, you would pay, right now it's a $300 deductible. So you would pay the first $300 toward the damage. And then the other one without a deductible, obviously you wouldn't pay anything. And the moving company would pay everything.
So is it optional to take that insurance basically? Or
yeah, you have to pick one.
You have to pick one.
You have to pick one.
It's not optional then.
It's not optional.
Okay.
But the basic, like I said, is free, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I use the TV as an example.
Yeah, because you're not getting anything for it.
And that's like when people want us to move their lamps and they're like, just put it in the truck. And I'm like, no.
Your Tiffany lamp, you just want to throw it in there, right?
Yeah.
Your chandelier?
And especially with the local move, they're like, I'm only moving a couple miles. And I'm like, well, a lot of damage can happen in a couple miles.
Most accidents happen within a couple miles of home. Isn't that a statistic that gets thrown out a lot?
Yeah. And I mean, and I get it. Like, it's expensive for a moving company to bring moving boxes and pack it all up. And so we're always like, if you're able to move the lamps and the mirrors and the artwork and that kind of stuff on your own, then that'll save you money. But if we're going to move your TV, we have TV crates now, which we rent for like $25.
That's
because some of our TV boxes cost like, I don't know, 180, like a lot of money.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So we built those crates, and we can't use them on all the moves, but we can use them on the local moves, which are really helpful. So yeah. But, you know, regardless, you know, if you have damage, right?
Yeah.
And if I come back, now the valuation protection on the estimate does not protect any damage to your home. So if we scratch your floor, we should have general liability insurance.
Right.
So that's a good question to ask your moving company is, do they carry general liability insurance, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the policy that they use if they, you know, we move gun safes and pianos. And if we're moving one of those down a flight of stairs and it
goes off,
which we've never had happen, but it could happen. And, you know, it's the same thing about our employees or our employees. So if they're injured, they're not going to come and sue you. They're going to go through the L&I, Department of, you know, the state workers' comp. And then cargo insurance. We also carry cargo insurance. So if anything happens on the truck, you know, we have $250,000 worth of cargo insurance on every single truck.
Okay.
And so when you call moving companies and go, well, this one was a lot cheaper, and it's like, probably a reason. Probably a reason. Like, it costs a lot to run a legal moving company
that can stand behind.
That has employees and it's trying to dot their I's and cross their T's and pay their employees enough to make them stay and do all that work day after day and treat people right.
In the end, you're buying protection by hiring somebody that like MovHER.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you are going to be more expensive, but that's because if something happens,
we're going to make it right.
You're going to make it right.
We're going to make it right. Yeah, I'll give you a recent example that I was really disappointed with. We moved a lady from kind of northern Washington down into the Spokane area, and the guys struggled. She had an almost 900-pound gun safe, and they struggled with it, and it was a really long day. And she wanted it in the basement at her
new place.
And they were like, even she was just like, don't do it. Like, I'm afraid somebody's going to get hurt. And then she was like, and there's some scratches on my LVP floors, that weren't there before. And so I called her actually earlier this week, and I was like, Karen, I'm so sorry. I wish I could make it better. I go, will you let me send another crew out? And I know we can get that into your basement. And when they come out, we'll take a picture of those scratches, and I'll send it to a vendor, and I'm sure we can get those repaired.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. She went with basic valuation, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to go back out, but it's like, what kind of taste does that leave in her mouth?
Yeah, not a good one.
And so
But,
Yeah. But you have to do the right thing. There's once in a while you get people that are just unreasonable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's true.
No matter what. Not very many. Not very many. But for the most part, people just want to be heard, and they want to be treated fairly.
So I'm calling around. How many moving companies should I get bids on? Just one, or one, two? What? I mean,
I would say three.
Three?
I would say three is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so let's say I'm like, okay, I'm going to use your company. What's the next step? And I'll just keep it in the industry that I specialize in.
Yeah.
And so I've got a family, and they're downsizing, and we've got Dad, and he's going to move from the house that he built and has lived in for 55 years in a garage, right? And so he's going to go to a one-bedroom apartment in a community, a retirement community.
Yeah.
And so can you come out and help us with that? And we've chosen you guys. So what are our next steps? We signed the contract. We're through all that process, but what's next?
I hope we talked about downsizing.
Oh, no.
Before you signed the contract.
No one talked to me about downsizing.
No,
what do you mean by downsizing?
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's a tough one. Those are tough ones, right?
Yeah.
Because you have so many memories, and then you usually have a lot of stuff, and you can't take it all with you. We are certified through an association called the National Association of Senior Move Managers, and so that's a national program of companies that are certified to move that particular population, right? To address those needs, and to make sure that we're, sensitive and providing services that are somewhat related to moving, right? So what are they going to keep? What do they maybe want to donate? What do they want to throw away? And usually we'll send a smaller crew out, and it just depends with every person, right?
Yeah.
It's usually 1 to 2 people, because anything over that is just too overwhelming. To try to, and that's charged at a different hourly rate than the move, but it makes the move go so much smoother, right?
Yeah. So what are these 1 or 2 people going to do for me?
They'll work with the homeowner, and they'll go room by room, and get it all organized with what they want to take, what they are okay with getting rid of. We'll take things to donation. We have certain like nonprofits here in Spokane, or in the Northwest that we prefer to take things to, but sometimes they have their own, right? That they want things to go to. If they want to try to have an estate sale, we have resources for that.
Yeah.
So it runs the gamut.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody thinks their things are worth
a lot.
A lot.
And at the end of the day, after exhausting time, energy, and effort for weeks on end, it's worth not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
More times than not.
Sometimes.
In my experience.
Yeah.
So that's a different service. So that's a hourly fee service.
Yeah. It's like I have certain people on my staff that I I wouldn't send all my movers to go do that kind of work, right?
Yeah,
Because
right.
a lot of my movers are like, we got to go, we got to go, right?
We're on the clock.
Yeah, but this is different. And so I have a good, let me just say, I have a good selection of women predominantly that just, they tend to be better at that, at working.
Well, they're empathetic.
Yeah.
And they can walk through the emotion piece, right?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they have a good ear for that, and they have a good eye. And
yeah.
Do they go and look at the place that this person might be moving to?
Yeah. Usually the organizers will not, but the estimator that went out the first time will go do that. And that sort of serves as their move coordinator for the whole thing. And they can help them with space planning, with, measuring what is it that you want to take, and kind of looking at that new space, and is it really going to fit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the original person that goes out and does the estimate, and you say yes, so they might go look at the new 1-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
And so they have a pretty good idea. You're in a 10 by 8 now bedroom with a small closet, and you're trying to move a king size bed with a headboard and a footboard and a dresser and an ottoman and right? So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like your main contact, and then she'll recommend, and we try to send the same 1 or 2 people, all the time, so they're not getting like, who are you? Who are you? So yeah, we like to have that consistency. It's important, because you just develop trust with them. I mean, there was a couple earlier this year that we helped them downsize. They were not older. They were just a busy professional couple in like a 7,000 square foot home, and she was very overwhelmed because they were living in, I think they had another home in South America. And so they were selling this home, and she just needed a couple of people to put things in boxes and that could be mailed, or just take things to donation. And so we were able to, just kind of reduce her anxiety and get things out of the house. And again, just sort of work on her priority list of like, I want to do my storage room in the basement first, then I want to do the kitchen, and, then I need to do the office. And so, it's not always older folks. It can be any age.
Any age.
Yeah.
Anybody that's overwhelmed, and we talk a lot at Aging Solutions about the sandwich generation. You're just pulled in so many different directions. You usually have your own career and kids and grandkids or whatever, and then you're trying to manage mom and dad and be very available. It's a lot.
But it's also sad when you see older folks that don't have anyone sort of advocating for them. And we really prefer having an adult child that we can keep informed, and this is what's happening. And then you have the whole geography thing, right? Of the adult children often aren't in the same city as their parent, and so you're coordinating long distance, and so it can be a lot.
Yeah. A lot of things to consider. Move days are not short days.
Generally, no. I mean, there can be some short ones, but they can be long, you know.
Well, for the person who's moving, you know, they're
one of the things that I love about what we do is that we'll make sure that especially for our older folks, for our more mature folks, is that if they have a favorite chair, the chair's like one of the last things that gets loaded, right? And so one of the first things that gets off. And if we pack for them, we make sure that we just leave an open extra large box by their bed, because they're going to sleep there, right? We're not stripping the bed.
Right.
We make sure the coffee pot's left out with a coffee mug and, a spoon, whatever it is that they need. I mean, there's just so many things when you're packing and you're like, oh, do you need this house paperwork? Oh, here's a charger. Oh, I found all this cash. I mean, you find all these things. And so a lot of it comes down to, how do you train your people when they run into these kind of things, right? Do they just toss it in a box, or are they really thinking from the customer's point of view of like, oh, maybe he's going to need these keys. Yeah. Right? Because their mind is going so many directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have personally moved people when you started the business?
I have. I did it all.
Built some guns?
Did I? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure. But I mean, I was a farm girl, and so I've never been afraid of hard work, and I think it builds a lot of character. I'm sorry, I put my hand over my microphone. I said I wouldn't do that. But one of my passions is for people to recognize how special it is to see these people work so hard. And I want to elevate the industry of moving.
What do you mean by that? Elevate the industry
I want people to have more respect for it. Right? Now you're just a mover. Yeah. You're just a mover, right? I mean, and I have my cleaning company. You're just a cleaner. And it's like, this is hard work. Like, if you want to do it well, like, it's not easy to do. Because earlier today, we sent a crew out to, I don't know what all they moved, but they put a China hutch on the wall where I guess the lady wanted it. And then they called back and she said, no, I wanted it centered under a picture. And so we were going back out to move it probably, I don't know, 18 inches. So it would be centered under the picture. So it's
a little bit thankless at times.
It can be. Yeah. And it's like, why is that so expensive? Right? Why is that so expensive? And it's like, well, I value the people, because if I wanted to be average, I would just run through my people. Right? But like these people that come and work here, like, it's important work. And we're moving everything in your home. Like, you're inviting us into your home. We know where you live. People that don't pay their bills, I'm like, we know where you live. But it's like, it's just really important. And for the most part, people do appreciate it.
Getting older is a gift. It means more mornings, more memories, more moments with the people you love. But it can also bring questions, uncertainty, and sometimes the feeling that you're navigating it all alone. That's exactly why Aging Solutions exists. Aging Solutions is a dedicated aging advisory service based right here in the Pacific Northwest. We walk beside you and your family with clarity, compassion, and practical support, helping you stay prepared, safe, and independent. Whether you're planning ahead for yourself or helping a parent navigate the road ahead, we are here for you. We believe no one should have to face these decisions alone, and with Aging Solutions, you never will. We offer 2 core services, each one designed to make life simpler, safer, and more confident. Our first service is your trusted aging advisor. Life comes with big decisions, and we help you make them with confidence. Through one-on-one phone and video calls, we work closely with you to build a personalized aging and lifestyle plan, wherever you are located. We guide you through the essential documents and advanced directives that protect your wishes. We help you think through long-term care and the real cost of aging, so there are no surprises. And when you need community resources or connections, we know exactly where to turn. Real guidance, real peace of mind. Our second service, currently only available in Spokane, Washington, is concierge support, because you should never have to navigate life or healthcare alone, whether it's a companion for an outing, a ride to your next appointment, help following up after a medical visit, or just someone to take you out to your favorite place. We are there. We can even help you with technology so you stay connected to the people who matter most. Think of us as an extra set of hands whenever you need them. We also offer 3 powerful products, all created to give you and your loved ones greater safety, security, and peace of mind at home. The Trinity EMS card puts critical information right in the hands of first responders instantly. Your treatment instructions, your medications, your emergency contacts, all secure and accessible when every second counts. It's one small card that can make an enormous difference. Trinity Connect is your daily safety check-in delivered right to your phone. Through calls or text messages, Trinity Connect checks in on you every day. If there's no response, your emergency contacts are notified, and if needed, so is 911. Someone is always checking on you. The Trinity Plan is your personal roadmap for whatever life brings. It organizes your legal, financial, medical, and personal information all in one place. It gives your loved ones clear guidance during a crisis or after a loss. Your wishes, your plan, their peace of mind. You deserve to age with confidence, dignity, and support. Aging Solutions is here, ready to walk beside you. Call us today or visit agingsolutionsnw.com to learn more, because every step forward is better together.
Yeah, and I think also people look around their house and they think, I don't have that much stuff. Right?
Yes.
So I looked this up before we got together today.
Oh.
The average home has over 300,000 items.
Wow.
In the home.
I believe it.
Yeah, over 300. If you think about that, and I don't know where these statistics come from, but there was I meant to write down the quote and I missed it, but I was impressed by that. 300,000 items. I'm thinking there is no way. They must have counted all my change jars.
All your Legos.
Yeah, all my Legos. But then, it kind of gave you an idea of how many boxes, if you had a 4-bedroom house,
Yep.
like between 100 and 200 boxes, you're going to need to pack that up. And I'm like, well, if I'm packing, 150 boxes, how long is that going to take me? And I've got to wrap things, they break.
Right.
And that's not including the garage, if you have a garage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of that.
The industry standard is that you can pack 3 boxes an hour.
What?
That's the industry standard. 3 boxes an hour.
Is that professional packers?
Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, you can pack books like that, right?
Oh yeah, grab them.
But then if you go into the kitchen,
yeah,
right, or the dining room, that's where it slows down. Like a dish pack is usually 20 to 25 minutes to pack it. So that's one of those that sort of thing. So, but on average, when you take all the different sizes of boxes, your mirror packs, your picture boxes, your wardrobes, your dish packs, your book boxes, all of those things. On average, it's 3 boxes per hour per person. That's what you base it on.
So if there's a 2-person crew there, it's 6 boxes an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got to take it out to the truck and then take it off the truck.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably the hardest thing to learn. And it's funny. It's funny. People will open up their master closet and go, yeah, that's probably a couple wardrobe boxes. And I'm like, every wardrobe box is 2.5 feet of hanging clothes.
Okay.
So if you just go home, and I just round it up to 3. I'm like, you tell me I can fit 2.5 feet, I think I can fit 3, right? In a wardrobe. And so I'll get 3 in there. Yeah. But so if you look at 3 feet, that's 1 wardrobe box. And then of course you can fit some of your shoes
in there.
Right? Yeah. Or like boxes of stuff. You could put that in the bottom of it. Wardrobe boxes are also awesome for just miscellaneous things like a vacuum cleaner, an ironing board, stuff in the garage, right? Stuff in the garage. Your rakes, your shovels, your hoses, and so you can be really creative. But as an estimator, early on, oh my gosh, I had no idea what I was doing, and now I can pretty much look and go, that's a dish pack. Those 2 drawers are a 1.5, and it just. Like anything, it just takes experience and time. But I crack up at people that, are like, oh yeah, it's 2 wardrobes. And I'm like, honey, that's like 8.
That's 8 wardrobe boxes.
Yeah.
And so then, so they can expect to have the move costs, the cost of the box.
Yeah.
And the insurance costs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all these things add up. If you're with an ethical mover.
Yeah.
Moving company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people, a lot of people don't think about factoring in the cost for a move. They think about the cost that the house or their new housing is going to be.
Yeah.
But, and they're frustrated by the time they call us because they're like, you're telling me it's going to be another $3,000?
It's not in my budget.
Right? Like I wasn't planning on that. And so, it is. It's hard. But I always go, well, when was the last time you moved? And they're like, I haven't moved in 40 years. And I go, well, then just think of all the years that you save money, right? Yeah.
Well, again, I think we've evolved from 2010 when you started, because I have moved a lot of people, friends included and so forth. And I'm kind of a country boy myself, and we had just a stock trailer.
Okay.
And everything just went in there.
Yes.
And we just used blankets for the,
Yeah.
They weren't moving blankets, is what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, and that's how we
Comforters.
moved a bunch of people. And, yeah.
I know. They still move that way because, and I'll talk to people because, where I grew up they're just farm towns everywhere. And every time I talk to somebody down there, I'm like, I know you probably have a horse trailer or, friends that are going to help you because they are very resourceful in general down there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But things have changed because the kids don't live here in town.
Yeah.
Your friends, if you're someone and you're in your 70s or 80s, you don't want to move.
No.
Right?
You shouldn't be. No.
Just the recovery period from the physical stress and strain, let alone the emotional recovery.
Yeah.
There's so much piled in there,
Yeah,
right?
there really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 59 and it's like, I remember going out on a move a few years ago just to see how the crew was doing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to help these guys. I'm going to grab this lamp. And I walked up the stairs to go in the house and I just bit it. And I'm like, because up here, I thought I could do it.
No.
No. I mean, I could, but it's just like, why? This is young people's work. Right?
Yeah.
But, they have a lot to learn too. Trust me. Because people will be like, they'll get frustrated. And I go, if I could put a chip in every single one of my employees of everything we teach them, I go, I'd be a bajillionaire. I go, but we train them. And just today, before I came in, one of our employees, I saw this truck go whipping by back into the warehouse. And it's this, one of our movers. He's a great young man. I think he's 19 now. And he walked in and I go, Clinton, stop driving your age. He wasn't driving one of my vehicles because he's too young. But I go, that's too fast. Slow down. So, I mean, anyhow, it's definitely a younger person's job. Although it is amazing to see there are some older people that have done it for a while and the skills that they have.
They know how to pack things in. They know how to
do things safely.
Yeah.
That they've saved their bodies. They don't do it the dumb way. So, yeah.
Then I'm super strong. It'll never catch up to me way. Yeah. So do you have any stories about families you've been involved with that's been kind of emotional or, challenging for them to be leaving home and going, reestablish?
Oh, yeah.
Can you share what that's like just so, because I think a lot of people, especially when we're kids and we're taxed and we're like, okay, I got to go out and help mom and dad, it kind of becomes about the kids because they are putting their life on hold for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we do a lot of coaching with kids, like be super sensitive to what your parents are going through. To you, it's a move.
Right.
But what's it like to them? What is this to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you just tell us some stories?
I remember one lady in particular, and it was, okay, so I was talking with the adult daughter, and I'm guessing she was probably in her 60s, maybe close to 70 at the time. Mm-hmm. And her mother was developing dementia. And so she was living at Riverview Retirement. So she already had a little apartment there. And the daughter said, I'll meet you there, when mom's at lunch. Okay, so mom is going to be at lunch. She's going to be out of her space because mom wasn't remembering things, right? And so she wanted me to come and walk through and see what all needed to be moved and that sort of thing. So we meet in there, and all of a sudden her mom walks in. And I'm like, oh my, and I'm with the daughter, and the mom's like, what's going on here? And of course I didn't say anything, but the daughter was like, well, mom, we're going to need to move you into another facility. You can't stay here anymore. And she was like, what? She goes, I entertain here, and she did. She had a nice view of the river. I mean, and she was like, well, what am I going to move into? And she goes, you're going to move into a studio. And she goes, where am I going to entertain my friends? She was really mad.
Yeah.
Like she just felt violated.
She was active.
Yeah. And I was just standing there, I don't know, trying to stay out of it and trying to not get in trouble. But that was a tough spot because nobody wants to lose their independence.
Yeah, nobody does.
Nobody does. And I felt so bad for her. And I also felt bad for the daughter because the daughter, was working with the facility who was saying, look, your mom she needs more care.
More care.
And the mom wasn't understanding. And you know, I mean, we eventually got her moved and stuff, but, you know, adult kids try to protect their parents or parent a lot of times. Yeah, and then there was another lady who, she was a genealogist, and we did a lot of downsizing for her, and her daughters lived across the state and weren't interested in any of her things. If they had their way, they'd have a dumpster in the yard and just get rid of it. But her things were her treasures, right?
Right.
And so we moved it all, like a lot of it, into a storage unit. And I just kept thinking, she's never going to see that.
Yeah,
she's never going to see that. And we moved her across state, and she'd be closer to her daughters. And I don't even think she was there for 3 months, and she fell and broke her hip. And she had to move to a different facility, and I don't even know what happened. But I mean, that's hard too, because you see that they don't have the support, and then they don't have, she was so overwhelmed. I remember the first time I sent in like 3 or 4 ladies to pack, and it was just way too much. And so I just was like, okay, I'm only going to send this person. And she really identified. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we just sent
forever.
It did, but we had plenty of time. And but that person, I, you know, created a relationship with her that she would be like, you don't need this. She's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it just was so valuable to her. And so she made decisions a lot quicker as the time went on.
So I think the movers and people in our industry, we come from it with different eyeballs. We can say, we build that relationship, and we know what's going to be useful for this person, but we have to let them understand, you know, what it's really like where they're going, and be accepting of that before they can say, oh yeah, I don't need my gun safe there. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know about other moving companies, but we try to give our crews notes about, here's what you're dealing with today. Right? Here is what you're walking into. Because sometimes it's a great thing and it's very happy. And other times it's very sad. You know, we had a move a little over a year ago where there was a suicide, and the husband had committed suicide, and I knew them from where I grew up, and we moved her out, and it was just like, you know, these are really sensitive things. Or there's domestic violence, right? And so, you know, there's safety issues, and we've been there when we've had to have a police presence. Because there's a restraining order. And so, you know, we've had our trucks followed trying to figure out where we're going. And we've had to bring our truck back to the warehouse and wait there for a while.
Really?
So that they won't, you know where that person's going. So, yeah. And that's, I think also being a woman-owned company, there's a lot of assumed trust that we're going to get that more than just a regular old company, you know?
Some guy walking in, bull in the china shop.
I'm not trying to say that they don't care, but but it makes it's important to us that we treat everybody like they were our own parents or they were our own grandparents, you know?
Yeah, there's just such an emotional side to it.
There really is, yeah. Today I was on a Zoom call. I left my door open, and this lady who's in her 80s popped back there, and I'm like, Jan, I'm like, I can't talk to you right now. But we moved her, and oh my gosh, she was so stressed out for her move, and she was so mad at me, and she was like, this was terrible. I hated this. And I was like, I'm so sorry, Jan, but I tried to tell you we needed more time. And she's like, I don't want to hear it. And now she's like, you guys are the best. I tell everybody about you. I mean, it's so stressful.
Yeah.
And so anyhow,
well,
crazy.
They're not sleeping. No one's sleeping. They're trying to think things through. They're adjusting with their new life, you know, their next transition of life. And what that really, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And then you've got people going, that's just, you know, we did this to my parents. We're guilty of it. We rented a dumpster because my parents refused to do it.
Oh.
Yeah. And we did rent a dumpster. And then
sometimes
I found my mother, who was 4'11", crawling into the dumpster.
Oh, no.
Why'd you throw this away? Now, when was that? 2003, and I'm thinking, you know, that orange ugly lamp
I would love
is
to have
priceless
that.
today. But one of my siblings said no, and it's that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and the other thing too, I think everybody thinks because it's so special to them, it's going to generate a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, generally it's not.
At a yard sale, that's why we donate a lot of things to charities that they can, get a lot of value out of it with no real cost into it.
Yeah.
So in acquiring it.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, those are great stories. So I was going to ask you what the average cost of moving is, and packing. You do packing as well?
Yeah, we do packing and unpacking. So we'll do organizing, we'll do decluttering, and then we do the standard packing and unpacking. A move, like an average move cost, and this is going to vary widely, but I would say average probably $2,200.
Okay.
Right? But if you're going to want us to move you from here, anyway, from like
300 miles.
Yeah, 300 miles. That's going to be billed by weight. Okay.
Okay.
So
who weighs the truck and when? Do you have a scale?
I can't tell you that. I'm teasing. So yes,
I have a bathroom scale. We put it under. We got 4 of them. We drive up on it. Yeah.
So some moving companies, I don't think there's many independent companies like us that have our own scales. So we'll go to like Love's Travel Stop, Pilot, Flying J. It used to be Flying J. It's not Flying J anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, we go to those scales, and it currently costs, I think it's $15 to weigh, and then $10 for a reweigh. And so anytime there's a move that's like long distance, like that 300 miles, or you're crossing state lines, and those are typically billed by weight. And so the moving company needs to weigh their truck empty, and they get a ticket that says, here's the empty weight.
Yeah.
And then they'll go and load the truck, and then they go weigh again. There's the full weight, the gross weight, right?
Yeah.
So you have the gross weight and the net weight. You subtract the two, and that's your billable weight.
Yeah.
But then it's also based on how far are you going, right? So like if you're staying within Washington State, they literally give us like a spreadsheet, and it says, okay, if your shipment weighs 4,999 pounds to 8,000 pounds, and if you're traveling 275 miles, here's the range you can charge per pound.
Okay. So it's a protection for the consumer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So and that's why I'm like, yeah, everybody should be in the same ballpark. So if you get something really low, it should be a red flag. Or if you get something really high, it should be a red flag.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be afraid to ask those questions of the moving company, because are you getting a non-binding estimate, or are you getting a binding estimate? And a binding estimate means, you know what, Brynne, we'll just move you for $1,000. And it doesn't matter how many trucks I bring, how many people I bring. Like, you don't care. You just know you're paying $1,000.
Well, that sounds like a great deal to me.
Right? That would be a great deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times people will, just recently we moved a piano to Seattle, but we had another move, like a full house move going to Seattle. So we were able to give them a binding estimate, because we're like, you know what,
It's
we're
already
already
gonna be on the
going.
truck.
We can load it on there, deliver it. That's easy. But it's important to know what kind of an estimate are you getting, because you can't just look at the bottom number and go, this one's cheaper, I'm going to go with this company. It's not necessarily true, because if it's non-binding, how did they come up with the weight, right?
Yeah.
You have to look at the inventory, and there's just a lot to know. Yeah.
Well, and that's why I find it interesting. Like when you travel, you see Love's and the companies you mentioned. I didn't know they had scales.
They do have scales, yeah.
So if I'm a consumer, I'm like, I got to move from here to there. My kids are going to whatever, and we're getting these. Am I looking at a non-binding agreement for the weight, or a binding agreement?
It could be either.
Okay.
It could be either. If it's binding, okay. If it's binding, they're probably not going to weigh the truck, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of moving companies have a weight minimum. So people will call and say, can you move me to Seattle? All I have is a 1-bedroom apartment. No moving company wants that job.
Why is that?
Because it's like it's going to weigh like 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to go, well, we're going to have to charge you $6,000. Right?
Yeah.
So, and then people are also like, well, what if I take out the washer and dryer? Right? So they might have like an 8,600 pound move, and it's just like, literally, don't worry about it. It's not going to make that big of a difference.
It's not a big deal, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And so movers want to talk to you if you're in a decent sized house and you want us to pack, and those are the moves that we want. But when you have the smaller moves, they're not as profitable, or they'll say, sorry, we have a weight minimum. And so this is, unless we could like piggyback it, that's what we call it. If we can piggyback it, or if you can be flexible, when we do your move, then we could offer you like a binding rate,
contract,
right? And sometimes that works.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of logistical stuff going on.
So the non-binding contract gives the moving company flexibility.
And the customer.
Because you really never know what you're going to get into.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we should have a pretty good idea.
You should have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
But, like you said, customers will change their mind.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll pull something out like, well, we sold that, or
right.
Or oh, by the way,
I thought I was going to do all this.
I forgot we have a storage unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I thought I'd get everything in the garage, but
yeah.
I just ran out of energy.
Yeah.
And I always like to tell people when I'm giving estimates of like, let me just include everything. Or you know what I mean? Let's do worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Because then at least if it's less, it's less.
Yeah.
Right? Because I always feel like people would rather have a bigger estimate and a lower actual bill.
Everybody would.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to go, oh, it's another $1,200. Great.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted because it's like 10
I did
p.m.
all the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you try to stream it. See, it reminds me of Shipping Wars. Remember that show, Shipping Wars?
Yeah.
Where they show how much the shipper made or lost based upon the damage and the being late, and, all those things.
Yeah.
So is there a late fee? Like, can they negotiate with you? If
I guess everything's up for negotiation anymore. But, I mean, we, of course, we offer discounts for seniors and military and repeat customers and things like that.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Safety is our most important thing. Safety for our crews, and safety for our customers. And so, in the wintertime when we get, the passes are closed, or we're just not taking the chance, because I always, no matter how bad the day is or bad the job is, it's like, as long as everybody's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
As long as everybody, then it's good.
Line.
Everything else can be fixed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had enough loss in my own life of losing my mom at 56, a sister at 50, and nephews in their 20s, that I don't get my undies in a bunch over much.
Yeah.
Right?
Takes
because
a lot.
it takes a lot. And it's like, I'm real sorry we scratched your floor, but you know what? We can probably fix that.
Yeah. We'll take
And I would take that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's all just perspective.
Okay, so I think we've talked about most things moving, but what are the things you can advise people who are considering moving, so they don't feel like they ended up on the short end of the stick or got taken advantage of? And also, how can people prepare to make it easier for the moving company so that things go well? Because we always talk about preparation here, whether you're seeing your attorney or your doctor, or whoever you're seeing. Yeah. The more information you have and the better prepared you are, the better experience you can have with that professional that's trying to help you.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
So, run us through that. What red flags? I mean, you mentioned some of them, but a list of, this is these are the kind of movers you want to work with, and that kind of stuff. And then from the customer standpoint, if you guys could just do this for your movers, please do this for your movers.
I mean, well, people who are prepared, the move always goes smoother. But it's,
when you say prepared, what does that mean?
Right? I know. I knew you were going to get me with that one.
Yeah, because it's kind of general. Prepared means a lot of different things.
Prepared is like, if you're doing all your own packing, like literally everything's packed, right? You're not, the movers aren't arriving and you're like, I'm still packing, doing all this. And there's chaos all over the floor and dogs running through the house and don't let the cat out. And,
oh yeah, don't you love that?
Right?
Yeah, don't let the cat out.
Yeah. And so, the more prepared that you are, as far as you've got clear walkways, if it's the winter that you've shoveled the driveway or the sidewalk, wherever it is, and maybe put some salt on it or something. I mean, we bring that stuff. But it just makes for a smoother move, right? As far as we talked earlier about getting 3 quotes. You want to make sure that that the moving company is licensed, right? And I think you just want to go with somebody that you feel good about. Yeah. I mean, if price is your determining factor, I don't know. That makes me a little nervous.
But, you said, and something I picked up on, that we have people sign the estimate or,
Yeah.
So
you have to initial and sign an estimate, but it doesn't mean that you're agreeing to hire them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I took it to mean. Like, well, I wouldn't sign anything. You come out, you tell me, and we talk about this, and you can write up your estimate. I appreciate it, but I'm not going to sign that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the obligation.
You'd have to sign it before a moving company would move you, right? Because and here's the horrible thing.
But you're telling me I'm not committed to that, right?
You're committed to signing it at some point if you want to hire the moving company. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't obligate you to use that company.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Obligate. I like that.
All it means is I understand this estimate, right? But I'm getting a couple more.
Yeah.
And I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I'll call you. You don't call me.
Because like if you don't initial one of those 3 levels of valuation, the moving company the default according to Washington state tariff is that they charge you for the middle one. They don't let you get the basic. They'll actually charge. We're supposed to charge you for the middle one. I've never done that to anybody. We go,
so
hey.
Wait a minute, the state dictates that?
That's in the tariff.
See, that's knowledge stuff that people should know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done that to anybody because I'm like, hey, it's confusing, right?
Yeah.
It's confusing. And so I'm like, we're going to send this back to you and, let me talk to you about these. Which one do you think you want? And so sometimes that's done electronically and sometimes it's done in person. Sometimes people will walk into our office and we can walk them through it in person. But those are one of the things that we check when people sign the estimates is that we'll open it up and go, oh, they signed all 3 levels, or, oh, they didn't sign any, and so that's the one section. We've finally gotten to a point where I think we've eliminated that happening going forward. But, some folks don't want to do things electronically either. Yeah. And so
a lot of our clients don't.
Yeah. And so we'll have to print it out and then get the signatures.
So when I work with a move company like yourself, they send it to me and,
And then you are the go-between?
Yeah, I'm the go-between. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you bring up good points, though. If we want a good, efficient move, and it goes to the respect of the moving company, which you alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
And that is, make sure they have clear pathways where they're not tripping over things, and you're just packing a box here and tossing it in the way.
Right.
And
make sure somebody's there.
What do you mean?
There's a representative in the home, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a lot going on. The people that we're moving, like maybe they have a doctor's appointment, right? Or they're getting their hair done, like whatever it is. But like we have to have somebody there.
Yeah.
It just leaves there's just way too much
often myself and a couple of people behind the camera are there. And that's why I know it's a long day because I get there before the movers show up.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everything's ready.
Yeah.
And to really, I love this. I always coach my clients to, when the movers show up, don't start picking this or picking that and doing this. It just slows everything down. So we're just going to have them move and we can do that at a later date. They're here to pack and to move, and it's not for, at that point, for us to go around and start making decisions about certain things.
Right.
There's always a question that comes up about, do we take that or leave that, or what room, might that go in the new place?
Yeah.
Or is that getting donated?
Yeah.
There's always those that seem to come up, but they're long days when you're trying to move somebody from their home to a community living space.
Yeah.
And
another thing about moving to a community living space, sorry to interrupt, but it made me realize that you should try to unload not during a mealtime.
Not breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not good.
No, they don't
always
they don't like to be they don't like us hogging the elevators, right? While they're trying to come down and get their meal. So that's one good thing to try to avoid is time the move so that
it's got to be like 10 in the morning or 2
in the afternoon, right? So
10 and 2.
Yeah. So
we always do try to coordinate those things,
right? And sometimes it doesn't work out so good.
No,
but yeah, there's
little tricks to the trade.
There are, there's things you learn along the way, and so I don't know if I answered all those questions.
Well, no, we're almost there though.
Well, I know, but I don't know if I answered all your questions about what can you do to be prepared. I'm surprised how many people like aren't there or they leave once the movers show up. And then the movers are kind of like, are we supposed to,
There's always questions.
There's always questions. Yeah. Or
so somebody,
Amazon stops by to drop off a package and they're like, what do I do? Yeah. And like I said earlier, the pets, it's just, yeah. So just having some sort of main contact. So, and we will contact, we do like we'll call 3 days ahead of their move to say, hey, we're just checking in. We're confirming the address is here. Looks like we're only going to pack up lamps and do you need any help? Were you able to get all the packing done? Oh, actually, no, right? And then so hopefully we can get ahead of that and maybe send a couple people out and help so that the movers don't get there and go, oh, now we're supposed to pack. Now it's going to be an even longer day. Yeah.
And then we have to redo the contract. We have to buy boxes.
Right? Yeah. So as people simplify moving, like,
well, yeah, they make it like it's no big deal.
I don't have that much stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not moving very far. And it's like,
it's I always, when I help coordinate moves and I'm there all day, I usually go in also the night before because the clients, there's always something. So then I'll call. I'm like, hey, this is Brynne, and I know we've been talking a lot lately, but we're going to need like 5 boxes, I think.
Right?
Yeah. Because we found some stuff that just can't stay here. Yeah. It's that kind of stuff.
It is. Yeah. And there's just some things you can't get done until, the day
until
before,
the day of.
The day of. Yeah.
There are just some. A lot of clients like to watch TV until the movers are in there and they unplug them and they take them out in their chair.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, can't you hook up the generator of that TV?
And speaking of hooking up, so like movers are not like appliance repair people, right? So we will like disconnect things. So we'll disconnect washers and dryers, but we will not reconnect.
And why is that?
Because we don't want to be responsible for, maybe you have washer hoses that you've had for 30 years. And this is a good time to actually replace, if you're moving to another place where you're taking your washer and dryer, it's a good time to get new washer hoses, right? Because who's going to replace our washer hose any other time, right? So you might as well just order some new ones. Because maybe they have cracks and then all of a sudden it starts leaking. And so was it our fault because we reconnected it? So that needs to be something that either we can coordinate with a third party for them, or if they have somebody that will do it. Same with TVs on the walls. We don't take them off the walls. Right?
Because
we could damage the walls. Yeah. And so again, we have people that we can coordinate and include that on the estimate for them so they don't need to do it. Same with exercise equipment. If it needs to be taken apart to get out of the room, we'll contract with somebody to take it apart and put it back together. And I always recommend that they take a picture of whatever their electronics are, whether it's their TV, their stereo system or whatever, of where those cables are. Because if we disconnect them, where do they all go? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we haven't helped people in the past, even though we really weren't supposed to.
I call it standby coaching. I'm like, hey, Clinton, this one's yellow. But I don't see where he's like, well, it might go in there, Brynne. I'm like, oh, perfect. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So,
but you can't really.
Another way to be prepared, right? Of thinking of,
thinking ahead. How am I going to disconnect and reconnect?
Right. Like we don't take propane tanks, even though they're empty. And another big one are the batteries for things like e-bikes. We can't take those because they explode.
Can you take e-bikes?
We can take the e-bike without a battery on it.
Oh, can you take motorized wheelchairs with lithium batteries?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, or oxygen tanks. We can't take oxygen tanks, right? We're not licensed for that.
You mentioned none of your trucks have burned up.
Yes.
These kind of things, this is why, right? These
and I tell them, I go, when things blow up, it just ruins the whole ambiance of the move.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're happy to put it in your car.
Yeah.
Right? And there have been times like we have definitely put TVs in our customers' cars, pictures, whatever.
Things that are precious.
Things that they don't want to pay for a box, and we're like, well, we can put it in your car and take it out of your car, but we're not putting it in our truck that way because it's just too much liability.
What's the weirdest thing or strangest thing you've ever moved?
A snake, a live snake.
Really?
Yes.
How's that work out? I mean, I thought you were going to say fish tank, like don't spill the fish.
We're not supposed to move anything that's alive. Like we're not even supposed to move plants.
Really?
Yeah. But I am like, look, if you don't hold us liable, and I'm not talking, I mean, people will move like their small plants, but when you have like a giant
palm
6-7 foot plant, like how are you supposed to move that? So I go, look, if you won't hold us liable, we'll load it last and unload it first, right?
Yeah.
We'll move it for you. But no, the strangest thing was a Gonzaga professor had a big snake in a big, I don't know, 4 foot by 4 foot square cage with a heat lamp in his house. And he was like, could you move that? And I'm like, this is in the early years. And I'm like, he's going to stay in there, right? And it was a local move. And so, yeah, that was the strangest thing. Yeah. Now it wouldn't happen anymore. But, when you're young and starting out and
trying to figure it out a little bit. There's not a lot of manuals on moving. Like, hey, start a moving company, here's the manual.
There was no manual for how to actually do it. Yeah, there was the tariff that explained all the rules, but there was nothing as far as like how to run the business and how to hire people and what kind of profitability should you expect to have, and it's crazy. Yeah, there's a little bit more of that out there today. Not a ton, but there's a little bit
more. So Sabrina, we're closing out here. What have I forgot to ask you that we should let the folks know about all things moving and those kind of things, and how to work with the moving companies or whatever comes to mind? Anything that I missed? We
Probably. We covered so much.
We did cover quite a bit, didn't we?
I think just keep it in mind, I think, is a good first thing to say, of like, don't leave it as like they're like, oh, criminy, I got to move, because you see the new space that whatever the new space is that you're going to move into, and it looks beautiful because it's normally empty.
Yeah.
Or it's a staged unit, right? But you have to think about, how is my stuff going to fit in here? And I think you just have to find a company that you identify with, that you feel good about, that you feel good working with. Whether that's us or somebody else. I'm always happy to do research. We can look up licensing to make sure, there's a lot of brokers out there that sound like they're moving companies, and they'll take your money, but then they sell it like online and send some
to a bidder.
Yeah, to whoever the lowest bidder is. And so then some truck shows up, like a white truck, and a couple guys get out. And
so how would the brokers, how would one of my clients come into contact with a broker?
They'll think they called a moving company, and the broker will talk to them like they are the moving company. And they never let on.
Is that like if I Google something and it pops up movers in the Pacific Northwest?
The only way that you really know is you can go to FMCSA, which is Federal Motor Carrier Safety Act, FMCSA.safer.net, and you can type in the moving company name, and it will tell you if it's licensed as a household goods mover.
Okay.
Or it will tell you if it's a broker. And if it's a broker, don't. But they're very good. And those happen mostly on interstate moves, that you don't see them as much with a local move within the same city. But once you start crossing state lines, and they're like, I got a bid for $3,000. And I'm like, you're getting ripped off. And yeah, that's definitely happened.
So that's if, mom and dad are going to move closer to the kids, or the kids are coming back, and mom and dad said, if you move back home, I'll pay for your move. And they're like, okay, I'll find somebody. And then, okay.
Yeah.
So interstate stuff.
Interstate is where you see that kind of stuff. And then always know that storage is an option, I think, too.
Okay.
If you've sold your house sooner than you think, and you can't take everything, find out if the moving company has a warehouse where they can store your things, and what would that cost be? Because if you opt to just like put it in a storage unit, then the moving company's liability is done once they put everything in a storage unit, right? And they're not going to keep their blankets if they're moving your things into a storage unit. They're like, for us, we'll wrap things in like a 3-ply paper, but you pay for every sheet of paper.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to hire us to move it out, right? So if there was any damage, our liability is over. But if you store your things with the moving company that has storage, they're going to inventory every single little thing. Everything stays furniture. It's wrapped with a furniture blanket, right? Everything's inventoried. It's put in our wooden vault in our secure warehouse, and it doesn't move until you're ready for it. And it remains the moving company's liability as long as they have it. And so that goes back to that valuation protection. So if you paid extra for protection, that extra protection carries over into storage. So that if the warehouse caught on fire and your stuff was destroyed, you would get the replacement, that higher replacement value if you went with one of those other options. So, yeah.
Well, that's great.
Right? Yeah, that kind of just hit my brain as we were finishing up. But it's a lot more complicated. But if you find a company that's willing to kind of explain the rules and that you just kind of feel good talking to, that's probably the company you should go
with.
For. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good information.
Yeah.
Sabrina, thanks for joining us today.
This was so great. I'm sad it's over.
Isn't it? Yeah. Wow.
It's just getting going.
Yeah, we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap this podcast up today. Thank you, Sabrina Jones from MovHER here in the Pacific Northwest. I learned a lot, and I've coordinated a lot of moves, but I didn't know all the kind of the legalities behind it and all the different protections and what's behind all that and the interstate stuff. Very fascinating. Yeah. The scale thing. I'm going to start now looking at all these truck stops.
You can always request a reweigh too as a customer, just so you know. Yeah, but we can charge you for that. Like $10.
$10 or something.
But if you don't believe their weight, they can go back and reweigh. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of The Voice of Aging. Brynne Malone, owner and founder of Aging Solutions, and we will see you next time. Thanks for listening to The Voice of Aging. Like, share, and explore our services at agingsolutionsnw.com. And connect with us on social for more support.